So happy Wednesday, June 18th. I'm just getting back from a whirlwind tour. We took the family to South Korea, and then we went on to Bali. Had an amazing time with the family for about 10 days, and then they flew home, and Natalie and I stayed there with the presidential trip. And so just just incredible to rub shoulders with, the top leaders and to be with the owners and the execs, get to hear some really cool reports about, kind of what's going on behind the scenes, and just to hear success story after success story. It is so fun. I wish I had time to tell you every single story. There's just amazing things happening. I was hanging out with Natasha and Vladimir, and they're a couple of Russians on our team, and they're both like incredible athletes, just like world-class athletes, and they just went double pres. So between trainings, between all the things of raising two small children and being insanely good athletes, they made time to go double pres. So just story after story after story. We sat with our Korean leaders. We had 3 meetings to help, doTERRA meetings to help Indonesia get going. So that was incredible. If anybody is interested in building in Indonesia, we have a WhatsApp group just for that. And the link to that is at sharesuccess.com/Indonesia. Oh, last time I did that, I didn't like it because it needed the HTTPS. So let's try that again. So it's going to take a village to launch that market. So everybody, if you're interested, beautiful people, such, the smiles and the humility, just incredible. So that is a quick report from Indonesia. I'm trying to think if I have pictures of slides. Let's see. I don't think I do. So we won't do pictures of slides. But yeah, I am here to support you today. Oh, and if some of you don't know how to find prospects in another country, I suggest you watch the Matt Hall video. So go to YouTube, go to the Share Success channel, and it's a pretty recent video by Matt Hall. I'll grab the link and I'll post it here. But super practical advice on how to find leaders, how, lots of scripts, and it's really great. So all right, well, I am here to serve you. So go ahead and come raise your hand, and we can bring you on live and answer any questions, talk through any blocks, talk through goals. Oh, that's right. It is on the, okay, so if you go to that Indonesia page, sharesuccess.com/Indonesia, there's a link to Matt's webinar. Yeah, it's the recording. Thank you, Brenda. I'd forgotten about that. So really great stuff. Okay, so who can we serve today? Raise your hand. And while we're waiting for the first person, we do have Experience doTERRA this weekend. So that starts Friday. Would love to see you. And if you want to bring your prospects, even if you have builders who maybe have stepped away for a while or have just lost the fire, I haven't found a better event besides convention, to reignite people and give them a clear path. So, all right, Becky is asking if I could go through the new Power of Three planner in the back office and how to use that to strategize for Power of Three. Does anybody have experience with that? I would love for someone else to speak to that. When the comp plan changed this month, Natalie and I had a strategic meeting, and we looked at all the ways to earn, and we decided not to focus on Power of Three. So, you know, we'll keep earning the base, but we're not going for the boost. So just to be clear, I probably can't help. So Julie's raising her hand. Let's see if she can guide us on that one. Julie, I've invited you to come on as a panelist. So if you want to speak to that, or if you have another question, go ahead and accept that. Okay. I'm not sure why. All right. Well, maybe that's not why she raised her hand. Okay. Brenda says, I've been looking at the new tools. It seems pretty straightforward. So Brenda, if you want to raise your hand and come walk us through that, I just haven't taken the time yet. So, so yeah, maybe give us some guidance there. Brenda looks like she'll be coming on as a panelist. So,
all right, I am switching to my computer.
thank you so much for.
Do you want me to share? Or
yeah,
no?
I mean, I've only just glanced at the new tools. I really haven't spent much time with it. So,
okay, so just let me switch over to my computer and then I can share.
so while you're doing that, somebody said, oh, Karina says, tell us your plans. So here's how I see Power of Three. I like to think about the compensation plan like as a cruise ship, right? Like if you're all in and you're going for big ranks, then like let's say Diamond and Blue Diamond are kind of like the cruise ship, right? But let's say you're on the shore and there's no dock to get out to the cruise ship. So in my mind, you know, the Power of Three that we've had in the past is kind of like a paddle boat, you know, like it's useful and it can help you get out there to the cruise ship. But if you want a motorboat, that's what the new Power of Three is, because it's a really robust way to get to 500. It's a robust way to get to 1750. And then, you know, as you're working on other bonuses, you can realistically get to 2500 in a really timely way and sustainable way. So if you're moving in those like silver, gold, platinum, even diamond ranks, I think it makes sense to focus on Power 3. But since Natalie and I are at Double Blue, our return on investment for time there is just not, it's not there. So that's why we're not focusing on that. So we're focusing on Double Pres right now. So that's, sorry, that's a probably longer answer than you needed. Okay, looks like you've got it pulled out, Brenda. So tell us what we're looking at here.
Okay, so so this is my understanding so far, which is, you know, somewhat limited. Sorry, my sister wants to get on, so I'm sending her the link.
Awesome.
Okay, so when you log in, and I was glad to see this update because I've been looking at it for the last couple of months and being like, I don't know like how to actually look at this, and it's been a lot of math and, you know, kind of trying to figure it out. Okay, so from what I understand, so your level 1 bonus, is this the question? Like maybe I'm not even answering the right question, but I think I am, of like, how do you use it, or
yeah,
how do you?
So she put she just made a new question. She said her specific question is about the pod qualifier.
Yes.
So that's what,
Okay, so when you go, so level one, your pod here, this is your volume. This is my volume so far on the pod. And so you can see it right here. But level two is when it gets a little bit more interesting because then you can see this is still mine, but then I have one of three pod qualifiers on level two. And I think if I click on this, I can know which one or two it is. I don't know for sure how to get that. Oh, it goes back to this. All right, now I have to go back. And then you have level three also. And so then it's showing on level three, I have 0 of 3 that have qualified for that level yet. Mostly I've been getting level two and we're only halfway through the month. So, but it's the first month also that we have to have that 500. And even because I've been qualifying for a while with just this, and now I've got to figure out what to do to get that extra 100 and whatever that is, 17. So that's what I'm looking at this month. I don't know if that is helpful to see where you're looking at the pod qualifiers. I don't know how to, I mean, it takes you to the transition report. So I don't know how to see which pods qualify. But the other thing that I do is I go into detailed genealogy. And if you're not used to looking at this one, it's a lot of numbers. Don't panic. Just set your levels 0 to 1 so you can only see your front line, and then you can go down and look at each one. And then if I go and look at another person's, then I can see how close they are to qualifying. So if that makes sense, that's pretty much all I got.
awesome. I've invited Becky to come on live in case she has any more questions. So Becky, if you want to unmute.
I think I'm unmuted.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we can hear
We can
you.
hear
Sorry,
you.
let me turn my video on.
That's okay. We can hear you.
Okay, so my question is on that pod qualifier, like the link you click on, it pulls up the report and you can see who your like who's qualifying. But on the old Power of Three tool, it helped you to like strategize to figure out how like who you should be working towards to get to be the next pod qualifier. So like that's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to is what is the way to use this tool in a way that helps you to strategize, not just check where you're at, because that's where I'm feeling a little bit of a need on trying to do this new Power of Three is like, how do I strategize and how do I use a tool to help me rather than like you were saying, Brenda, like it's so much math to try to figure out this.
yes. I
Does
do
anyone
think
else
it's
like have the
unless
same
they're
problem?
I actually haven't are they planning to update that other tool? Because I never really used that tool because it came out after I was fairly stable and I didn't really use it very often. Sometimes I would, but we just didn't have a huge need for it. Um
I haven't heard if there's a plan, but if anybody has a question or a suggestion, they've been really open, and the lifting tide lifts all ships, right? So
well, and I think they still have the Power of Three tracker as a tool from, I mean, it's a banner link from the main site. And so I would think either they're planning to update it or they are, I mean, it says June and it's here and we're looking at all the things, but I think it's showing that I am actually qualified and I'm not on because I have everything. Oh, well, it is showing the team volume. So have you tried to use it, Becky?
I have, but it's still like you know how see how look on your Camille like that second level where that says Daniela, like you don't have a green check mark because she doesn't have 100, so it's still operating under that old format. Did you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's helpful that it has like the
Yeah,
tool.
yeah, because she's almost there on team volume, but you're right, this is not quite like the green check marks are indicating that probably they're trying to indicate that they're going to get paid because they don't have to for you to get the bonus anymore. And so
Right.
maybe that's what they were thinking on that. But like this one, like she doesn't have three and she's qualified, right? She's got her team volume and her personal, and so she's there anyway,
Hmm.
which is just crazy to me because I'm like, she's the one I've been working on forever.
So maybe
And
I
these
should
guys
go back
all
and
had it
try it
locked
again.
up, right? Yeah. So what did you
Yeah.
say,
Okay. Maybe
Becky?
I should.
Sorry, I
Well, I just said maybe I should go back and try it again because maybe it's like it's still, just giving you the check mark if they have the 100, but you can still try to use it as a strategy tool,
yeah,
you
maybe
know,
just play around with
and then
it.
it still lights up if they meet the criteria, the new criteria.
Yeah. It looks like they've updated it to some level, and maybe it's just a matter of playing around with it so that we understand it better.
Hmm. Okay. I'll have to try that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much
Thanks.
for showing us, Brenda. That's I'm visual as well. I see some other people saying that. So the visual is super helpful. Shelly is asking if where we can see the people who have ordered through our link, and like what specifically they ordered. Do you know that, Brenda or Becky?
Would that be like a referral link? Because
Uh-huh.
if they order, well, let's see, if they order, they should just show up as a new enrollment if they order through your link and you're a wellness advocate.
And
But
so
if
you
they're
just,
ordering through someone else's, like on your front line, and they become, I still think you just get an email.
but as far as like what they ordered, would you just click in their back office and
Hmm.
click on their volume for that
Yeah,
month, and then that drills you into their product, right?
that's what I would do, is just go
Yeah.
in and click on their order number.
Okay. So that's what I would do, Shelly. Hopefully that's helpful. Cool. Awesome. Um, any other questions, Becky?
I don't think so. That was helpful.
Awesome. Yay,
Thank you.
Brenda to the rescue.
Dr. Ma,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay,
Can I share something with you?
please.
Um, okay, so I had this realization this week. I've been out in my garden doing like tons of things because I always have tons of things to do in the garden, which I love. Anyway, I had weeds galore, and I have this section, like this middle bed planter in my backyard, and it goes all the way across my backyard, and it's a big backyard. I have an acre lot. So it goes all the way across the big backyard, and it is always full of weeds. But when we first moved here, she had rocks in it and the weed barrier underneath, which the weed barrier does not last, right? It's worthless. But the thing that it does do, and it does really well, is it kills the earth underneath it. So I pulled it all out, I pulled the rocks out, I pulled out the stuff, and then I have this like nasty clay, just like basically garbage dirt. So I put in some additional dirt because we dug out our trampoline. So it wasn't like it was like, necessarily healthy dirt, but it was, whatever. And then of course it continued to grow weeds, and that was all pretty much it would grow. Anyway, so it's been 8 years today since we moved into our house here. And this week we were pulling weeds out there again. And I was talking with my nephew, and what I had decided to do is, because it's such a huge job, and I didn't want to replace the weed barrier because I wanted to heal the earth, because that's who we are, right? And um, so what I have done every year for probably the last 5 years is I'll put cardboard and wood chips on it. And so I was telling my nephew, I said, he's like looking at it, he's like, this is really, really terrible. And I'm like, yeah, well, you should have seen it before because it was way, way worse. But I just decided to cover it up with wood chips and let God do his work. And he said to me, um, this doesn't really, he's like 16. This doesn't really seem like God doing his work. This seems more like you ignoring your problems.
That's
So
hilarious.
I said, when you have as many problems as I do, you just have to bury some of them and let God work on them. And it made me think about, because it's super true, right? Like,
Wow.
and so that is, and it made me think of like, what have been the wood chips in my life? that I've put onto my life and let God keep working on it, even though, sorry, I didn't have time or I didn't have the energy or the strength or the confidence or whatever. And I remember Mark Garrett many years ago said to me, put frankincense on, breathe it every day for just 2 minutes, and it will raise your vibration, it will change your life. So it is the slow way, and it's okay. Time alone would not have healed my garden. I
Mhm.
had to put the wood chips on it. So there you go. There's your spiritual thought
Wow.
for today.
Oh man, I love that so much. I uh I have the same philosophy. Just like Dave Sterling says, you can't improve on nature. In fact, you shouldn't try. And it's incredible to me how the natural state of nature is to heal itself. So if you have had, over-tilled farmland, or if you've had, weed barriers like you did, um, that that process of cardboard and then tons of wood chips, um, it brings it back, and it's just incredible how, these millions of bacteria and fungi get in there and start doing their magic, and it's like the earth wants to be healed. And even weeds, I've been learning, are a tool towards restoring wholeness. So the weeds get in there and they send down roots, and the roots are actually breaking up hard soil, and they're creating this infrastructure in the soil for those bacteria to live in. So even weeds are part of nature trying to heal. And then after the weeds come the shrubs, and then after the shrubs come the trees. And but a tree, if there was a seed, a tree seed that were to fall in the middle of a huge clay field, it's never going to grow. But if the weeds have come, if the shrubs have come, then all of a sudden there's this perfect environment. So thank you for that reminder, Brenda, that we were meant to be whole. That healing is our natural state. Um, and man, what a perfect example our yards and our gardens provide to, um, in this, I would say that in the journey to heal others, remember to be healed. We can put too much focus on others and forget our own invitation to be whole and to be healed. And so thank you for that beautiful reminder. That's so right. And Frank is a powerful ally. Love Frankie boy. Oh, good stuff. I actually just so I got back from my trip, went out in the greenhouse, and I started a bunch of onions and garlic, and um, just I've had stuff going in there for a year now. And it was so fun to pick tomatoes and pull up some onions and garlic and some raspberries and blackberries. And oh my goodness, we spend so much time planting seeds that we often ask ourselves, will I ever see the harvest? So even if the harvest is small, it's just so rewarding. So grateful. So thank you, Brenda. Appreciate that. Um, Roa's got a suggestion for the lasagna gardening book, and I assume that is suggesting the same idea. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy how, as I travel the world, like we were in Bali, and we took a bike tour through these rice fields. And the tour guide is telling us um, all the ways that the farmers um, take care of their land. And it just blew me away. So they take droppings from like some of their animals, I think chickens and others, and they spread those through the rice paddies. And then they have these big tractor things that they work it into the soil. And then they take cat droppings and they'll strategically place that through their property to get rid of the rats and mice, because obviously they don't like to think about there being cats around. And there was just so many ways that, like they don't get out there and spray Roundup on their rice paddies, right? They don't bring in fertilizers from 2 continents away, right? I mean, these are people who, I think they said the average income in Bali, in Thailand or Indonesia is I think they said like $300 a month, something like that. So, and if you're subsistence farming, then you couldn't afford big commercial fertilizers and sprays anyways. So, nature has a way. Nature gives us everything we need. And so that's the philosophy this whole company was built on. That nature is enough. Nature gives us what we need. So, good stuff. What are the questions you guys have for me today? Go ahead and raise your hand and we can bring you on live, or you can just pop them in the chat. Just scrolling back to see if there were any questions that I missed. Well, you better ask a question or we'll just talk gardening the whole time. Okay, Marianne says, does VMG Plus break our fast? So this is where I've learned that there's not a one-size-fits-all answer to almost any question. What I found is that our bodies are as different on the inside as they are on the outside. So I don't think that VMG breaks my fast, but if you want to know for sure, then get a continuous glucose monitor, and you can watch for yourself if it's hitting your if it's spiking your glucose and breaking your fast. If it doesn't spike, then it's not breaking your fast. So that's what I would do. I don't have a better. Try calling if your doctor won't give you a prescription for a CGM, then go. I would call Prime Radian. My understanding is that every wellness advocate gets 1 free consult a year. So I think that's right. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but give them a call and see what they can tell you. Okay. What other questions do you have for me today? Yeah, give Prime Radian a call. Becky says you can get a CGM through Stilo without a script, prescription. Okay, I didn't know that. Great advice. I learn something every week. Thanks to you guys. All right. Well, what other questions do you have? How is your June shaping up? Karina says, where's the best place to teach the comp plan from? Again, I found that there's not a one-size-fits-all response. And so the best answer to this question is it depends. If you have a brand new person and they're just getting started, then there's no need to teach PGV or TGV because if they're brand new, then all their volume will be new volume. And so they'll automatically qualify with the volumes in place. So yeah, I've seen a lot of PowerPoints flying around, and doTERRA has their really great resources in the DMK. So if you just go to doterra.com/DMK, then you'll see, just do a search for compensation and you'll see 5 PDFs, 3 PowerPoints, 4 webinars. I mean, like there's so much content there. So be wise. If you're starting a new person, like I said, I wouldn't, I'd go for the least slides possible. Matt Hall was teaching this principle in while he was teaching the compensation while we were in Indonesia. And I'll show you his slides. They're really great. If I can remember where they're saved. Experienced doTERRA. Here we go. Okay, so oh, got to download the file first. Okay, here we go. Slides are loading. So in Indonesia, our target was brand new people, right? People who have maybe just heard of doTERRA. This is their first event. And so these are not, you know, sophisticated or savvy network marketers who know comp plans. These are people who are brand new to the concept of network marketing, maybe, and our comp plan in particular. Okay, well, apparently PowerPoint can open a file, but it doesn't mean it's all downloaded. That was probably a quicker way to do this, but thank you for your patience. Wow. Sorry, this is so slow, guys. A really big file. Okay. Marianne, if you can tell me how to change the setting in Zoom so that people can save the chat. I've tried in the past and haven't had any luck. So that would be great. All right, let me share what Matt used in Indonesia. So he basically teaches to focus on 3 goals. Your first goal is to turn a profit. Okay. Oh, still got some Portuguese in here. Sorry. So if you enroll 5 people per month, not just your first month, but each month, and then focus on keeping your group of frontline customers to 500 PV and find 3 business partners, that's your first month's goal, then you should earn $100 in Fast Start, $100 from your Power of 3, and now you're profitable. So you spent $100 to earn your check, and you made another $100. So that's month 1. You know, if you're going aggressive, if you're trying to do this all in 1 month. So that is that's the first goal. Second goal in 90 days is to go for elite. So again, you enroll 5 people per month. You maintain 800 PV of loyal customer volume. And then the 3 business partners that you found last month, you help them achieve the first goal, right? The goals from this page. So if you do that, you'll get 250 in Fast Start, 500 Power of 3, 125 from E level, totaling 875. So that's an aggressive goal. This could be spread out over time, but it's that's what Matt Hall teaches. Your goal number 3, again, you're enrolling 5 people a month, keeping that 800 PV in customer volume, then helping 3 people achieve the goal from the last screen, right? And so if you do that, then here's a breakdown of your earnings. Super aggressive, right? Like this is not your average stay-at-home mom who's gonna pull this off. I shouldn't say that. That was, sorry. I deduct what I just said. But this is a more aggressive goal, and it's totally doable. Matt is popping new silvers on the regular. A lot of them are doing it month 1 or 2. So this is what he's teaching. Sorry, it's in some of it's in Portuguese, but I think you get the idea. So okay. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so that was a really long answer. Yeah, let me get the slides translated and then I'll post that. I'll share it in the Share Success Facebook page today. So yeah, that's a great little tool. So thank you, Matt Hall, for that awesomeness. Brenda says, average stay-at-home moms back in the day, now focused on the business, made silver in a few months. Yeah, it's funny how passion leads to success, right? Like you don't have to have massive experience. You don't have to have, you don't have to be a rock star salesperson, just sharing with passion. So Marianne is raising her hand if you want to come on as a panelist. Love to answer any questions you got. Okay. Karina is fired up. She's got a girl that she wants to build with. She wanted to build with years ago, and it was a no, but now she wants to build. Love that. Okay, Marianne, you're on as a panelist now, so if you just want to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Hi, I'm going to turn my video back off. I just woke up.
No worries.
First of all, thank you for always being here every Wednesday. Okay, so I put into I'm learning how to use AI. So I put into AI how to change the settings. And if you want, I can just walk you through, because I guess I'm not the only one who would like to save all the awesome stuff in chat.
Okay.
So it says, if you're the host, to allow, can I share screen so you can maybe just look at this?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've followed these steps, but the instructions that I got, well, anyways, we'll try it. I don't want to. Yeah.
How do I share the screen?
You should be able. Is there a share screen down at the bottom of your Zoom?
I'm looking.
Since you're a panelist, you should be able to.
Here we go. So let's say I want it on 2. What this one? Okay, and share. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
So I wanted it just to be there, but if you want, while you're typing, I can talk. If you want, I can read it to you. Whichever.
No, I can read it.
Okay, whatever's easier for you.
So the trick is this is a webinar. So maybe ask it. And I apologize to everyone else that we're taking valuable time for tech stuff. I know that a lot of people have requested this and I haven't had any luck getting it done. Okay, Hella is asking what the name of the Facebook group is where I'll be posting the PowerPoint, and it's just called Share Success. So if you go to facebook.com/share oil success, that's the link to the Facebook group where we have regular posts, and there's some really great stuff in there. So I hope you're all following that page. It's really great. Okay. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of this and
allowing panelists to save chat, only the host. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Do you need me to scroll up or down or anything?
No, that's perfect. Thank you. So I will work on that and
for next time.
And yeah, it probably won't work for this Zoom call, but we'll get that working for the next Zoom call. So thank you so much, Marianne.
Thank you.
Okay, Loren, you're on as well. Welcome.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Great, thank you.
I've got a question about leadership.
Great.
I listened to a webinar of Eric Worre about leadership, and he explained that one common thing in MLM was people saying that the wellness advocates, the team, was not doing a lot of things. And some people in our team, it's the case, but I think it's kind of normal or general. And he was explaining that if we have people like that, if we think that they are not doing enough, it's because we lack of leadership, and that we don't have maybe the vision or the tools to make them do a little bit more of what they would do by their own. And I think it's true. I'm sure I'm lacking of leadership, but what would you suggest? Because I think it's the line between helping people, maybe doing too much for them is not too good, but not being present and letting them on their own to maybe face challenges and grow. I, I don't know if you understood the question. I think that the fine line is not really easy. And I don't know what you would suggest to grow in leadership and help people take action.
Wow, that's a fantastic question. And we could spend the whole day on that one. So how do we inspire our team to engage so that we're not over, what's the right word? So we're not enabling, but instead we're inspiring and empowering, right? It's pretty easy to do for others what they could be doing for themselves. So how do we, right? How do we inspire instead of enable? And again, I would say there's not one size fits all guru out there on leadership. What I found is different leadership styles appeal to different people, just like different personal development gurus appeal to different people. So I would say if Eric Worre is a voice that resonates for you, I would say, jump all in. But as far as some of my favorite leadership gurus, I love Simon Sinek. And to me, his stuff is so principled. I especially love his book it's called The Infinite Game. And it's about getting clear on your why and what he calls your just cause. Really, really inspiring stuff there. He's also got really great videos out there. So Simon is one of my favorites. Brene Brown is also one of my favorites. Just really powerful stuff on, like one of my favorite quotes from her is, "Who you are is how you lead." So yeah, all of her stuff is fantastic. I am a huge fan of John Maxwell. I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but we read his classic, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, gosh, over a decade ago now. And that is one that I continue to go back to over and over and over again. So those are just three that resonate with me. But again, we when we were creating the system, we used to try to tell people, read this book, read that book, go to this guru. And what we found is everyone, we all have different emotional languages. We have different personalities, and for some people, strengths and going down that road was exactly what they needed to develop their leadership style. So yeah, I would just say follow your heart, follow what resonates with you for where you are right now. Be open that you who moves you could change over time. So that would be that would be my advice. And I'd love to hear from everyone else. Who is your favorite person for leadership? I know others who say the Bible is all you need. And I've actually got a big part of my team who who would say that true leadership development happens as a soul development project, and that happens best with Jesus. So again, to each his own. Just find your path, find what works for you, and stick with that path for at least a year. I've noticed that people who jump around from training to training and guru to guru tend to make less progress. So, gosh, yeah. So that's my advice. I could go on for a long time, but yeah, I agree with what Brenda's saying, that Eric probably is better for really specific strategies. But I don't know that he's necessarily a leadership guru. So, but I do, a lot of the Matt Hall stuff, he learned a lot of what he learned from Eric Worre. He's part of that inner circle. So yeah, so read through the chats. We got people posting who their favorites are. Definitely recommend listening to Mel Robbins, since she's our guest speaker for convention. Really, really solid stuff. Let Them, I think, is maybe one of her best works. So
Thank you very much. I'm gonna have a look at all those people and see what resonates most. Thank you.
yeah, and that's a question that applies not just to doTERRA, but also to parenting. How do we empower our children so that we're not doing too much for them? And it's what I'm still learning myself. I wish I could say I'm an expert, but I feel like I'm pretty far from it. So great question. Thank you, Lorraine.
Thank you. And I was asking a question to my husband, and I would like to ask some friends, but since you are here, do you know any books about Jesus and leadership? Because I had that in mind this morning. I think it's kind of incredible what he did. So I don't know if you know some.
Absolutely. So somebody just gifted me a book. It's actually Lindsay Norman. She gave it to me and Natalie, and it's a John Maxwell book, and it's on my bedstand, so I can't remember the title, but let me see if Google search will answer that question. Okay, so it looks like that book that I referred to earlier, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, it looks like he's got a version of it that is rooted in the Bible. So if I can share my screen. It's called The 21 Laws of Leadership in the Bible.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I thought that, so Laura Jacobs was praising the heck out of this book while we were on the press trip, but she said it had, oh, I think this is the one right here. Okay, so I think High Road Leadership is actually the one that she was recommending. So let's, that looks like it has way more reviews too. So I would recommend High Road Leadership, and I'll post a link to it here in the chat. Wow, those links are—
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So I haven't read it yet, but Laura Jacobs said it takes the 21 Laws book and just goes such next level. Like it's really, really powerful. So great question.
Merci beaucoup.
De rien. Okay. All right. What are the questions? I'm trying to look and see if I missed any questions. So Shelley, on that question of gurus, she recommends Ray Higdon, Richard Branson, Tiffany Peterson, and Mel Robbins. And then a couple of people mentioned Hal Elrod. He's been our guest speaker at Leadership. Did he come? I think he's come to Leadership twice. He is really great. Okay, and then Jessica asked on Indonesia if they have a founders club. So what they're doing in Indonesia is it's because the market's not fully open, they're not calling it founders club, but it's really, really similar. And the way it works is you build to gold, and if you hit gold 3 times, doesn't have to be in a row, but if you hit 3 times this year, then you'll get a $2,000 bonus. So that's for this year. And so that's basically, it's probably actually more than you'd earn as a founder in the market, just because the market's so young. So that is the offer that's on the table. That's really close to being like Founders Club. The PowerPoint's still downloading, so. Okay, Becky's asking, how do you get people in Indonesia to enroll if they can't get product shipped there? So doTERRA has been working so hard to make it easier for us in Indonesia. And they've actually figured out how to ship from Singapore to Indonesia. And you do have to use a freight forwarder, but they've already greased the wheels so that it's really quite doable. And I have those slides, and my PowerPoint just isn't loading yet. So I will show those right now. So for those who want to build in Indonesia, this is everything you need to know to enroll new customers. And so they're going to basically sign up as a Singapore wholesale customer. And then if they want to upgrade to a wellness advocate, they need to send an email to southeastasia@doterra.com. And then if they're an existing customer, in GAC, they just send an email to the same email, and they'll move their account to Singapore so that they can get their products in Indonesia. Then once that's set up, then they just set up an LRP, process it, and then they have the products shipped to a Singapore address that they can get from this freight forwarder. So here are the 2 freight forwarders that they have set up. So one of them is called Trinity Cargo, and one of them is called Sendo Shipping. And basically those give you a Singapore address so that you can have it forwarded to Indonesia. So they also have a couple of ways to get paid if you're building in Indonesia. And so I think that's set up. Oh, so there's one partner, it's called Pay Quicker, but that Pay Quicker can pay you in these 4 different ways. So those are that should be everything you need to know for building and ordering in Indonesia. So here are the email addresses that would be useful. And I thought we had a slide about oh, it's not there. It's on my laptop. So hopefully that's helpful. That's how people can get their products in Indonesia and get commissions too. So not a fully open market, but thanks to these great hacks, I guess you could call them, it's operating like an open market. So it's just a few extra hoops to jump through. Most other GAC markets, it's not like, it's not that easy. It's a lot more hoops to jump through, and you have to figure stuff out on your own. So thank you so much, doTERRA, for making that possible and giving us these tools to make it possible. I'm super grateful. Okay. Somebody on the VMG Plus Breaking Your Fast on Facebook posted that under 50 calories is okay and won't break your fast, and VMG is 15. So sounds like from her research, it should not break your fast for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on with us today. And thank you for bringing your awesome questions. And thank you, Brenda, for helping us bring awesome solutions, and Marianne for the tech solutions. Super grateful. Marianne says that's for a dirty fast versus a clean fast. Okay. All righty. Well, thank you all so much, and we will look forward to seeing you next week. As one last invitation, it's a great time to get signed up for convention, get your people signed up for convention. It's going to be awesome with Mel Robbins. It's going to be a great year. You don't want to miss it. There's nothing like the live energy. So hope to see you there, and we'll see you next week. And I will be posting the slides that I shared in the Facebook group. So go to facebook.com/share oil success. Okay, we'll see you next week.